we're going to have some fun. So, since Hillary Clinton's supporters are already speculating about who could potentially be her VP pick, I wanted to do the same and give you my take on who I think would be a great VP pick for Bernie Sanders. Now, of course, this is a bit early, but nonetheless, it's Bernie week, and I want to talk about this because I think it's something that's fun, and I think it's interesting too. So I'm going to give you my choices and who my number one VP pick for Bernie Sanders is. So first and foremost, one of my choices is Alan Grayson. Now, this is an individual who I think would be a great vice president for Bernie Sanders because he could really crack some skulls. If you've heard Alan Grayson speak, he is very decisive, he's very commanding, and he's kind of a loudmouth. So he calls Republicans idiots. I mean, he does things that, politicians don't typically do. The establishment absolutely hates him. He's running for Senate right now, and the Democratic establishment, Debbie Wasserman Schultz and whatnot, have backed his opponent, who is a very conservative Democrat. So they don't want him to win, but nonetheless, Alan Grayson has done a fantastic job in House races. He won by a landslide in 2014, and I think this guy knows how to run campaigns, and so I think he would be very helpful to Bernie Sanders' campaign. And not to mention, of course, Alan Grayson is a progressive. He's against the TPP. He's for LGBT rights. Everything you like, he's in favor of. So now my second pick is Keith Ellison. This is an individual who is constantly speaking up in favor of the little man. I mean, he's part of the Progressive Caucus in Congress. He would help Bernie Sanders in terms of demographics because he's African American, he's a Muslim. So I think that this would be good to, reach out to those communities and have them support Bernie Sanders through Keith Ellison. He's someone who is very articulate. He is someone who is, I think, presidential, and someone who would be a very great pick for Bernie Sanders. They've collaborated in Congress before, and I think they'd make a really great team. So now my third pick is Julián Castro. Now, this is someone who a lot of people contend would be a great VP pick for Hillary Clinton. Now, I agree. I also think he would be a great pick for Bernie Sanders as well. He reminds me a lot of President Obama. I think that he's very intelligent, he's articulate, he's presidential, he's charismatic, and I think that he's someone that would help Bernie Sanders, again, because there's that demographic support. He's a Latino. We have a very, very large part of our electorate that is Latino. So I think that them having a candidate, making history and electing, the first Latino VP would be absolutely fantastic. Another choice is Cory Booker. Cory Booker is an excellent politician, very smart. He's progressive. He's on the right side of pretty much every issue. And I think that him and Bernie Sanders would also make a very good team. Now, another choice is Raúl Grijalva. He is the first congressional endorsement for Bernie Sanders. He's part of the Progressive Caucus in Congress. He's actually the co-chair. And I think that, again, this is someone who would work very well with Bernie Sanders. He stays on point. But my only cause of doubt for Raúl is that he's not as charismatic as others, such as Julián Castro, such as Cory Booker. So I would probably say he's kind of like one of my lesser choices, but still I think he'd be a great VP. And in terms of policy, I think all of Bernie Sanders' supporters would love him. Here is my my ideal pick. So this is who I want to be the VP for Bernie Sanders, but will not be the VP. And that person is obviously Elizabeth Warren. She would be excellent. If you have Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders teaming up, that would be an unstoppable duo. That ticket would be the most badass presidential ticket in history. It would be fantastic. Elizabeth Warren is very articulate. She's commanding. She's charismatic. She's presidential. She's all the above. So if she was the VP, she could run for president after that because she has that record to run on. So, of course, Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, that's the match made in heaven for all of us Bernie supporters, right? Now, I don't think this is going to happen because I don't think Elizabeth Warren wants anything to do with the White House. But I would feel probably more comfortable leaving her in Congress because I want a really strong progressive voice in Congress. I think that is really, really important, and I think that she does a great job at fighting for progressive values in Congress. So when you remove her from that and you put her in the White House, then in effect, I don't know that she can be, as effective. So I'm kind of torn on it, but still, I would say I'm Elizabeth Warren all the way. So now, as for my actual pick, who I want the most to be Bernie Sanders' VP pick, drum roll. I don't have the sound effect. It's Kristen Gillibrand. If you've heard her speak, this is an individual who is very, very personable. She is very charismatic. She's articulate. She's intelligent. She's progressive. And I think that her and Bernie Sanders would make a very good team. Now, furthermore, the reason why I really want Kristen Gillibrand to be his VP pick is because I'm ready for a woman to be in power, in executive power for once in this country. A lot of people are supporting Hillary Clinton just on the basis of her gender. Now, I don't support candidates based on their gender. I support them based on their policy, but I mean, it would be fantastic if we actually had a woman in the executive branch. I think she would really be an asset in the national election, and I think that she could potentially help Bernie Sanders to pick up the disenfranchised Hillary supporters who decided to kind of bow out of the election since they're so disenfranchised. I think that she would help ameliorate that. So Kristen Gillibrand would be excellent, and I want her for the same reasons why I want Elizabeth Warren to be the VP, because this kind of sets her up to be the president someday, and I think she would make a fantastic president. She's excellent. She's a rising star in the Democratic Party. Now, she is not as far to the left as Bernie Sanders. She is, I don't know that I would call her a full-on establishment candidate, but I would say that she is more establishment-y. That's not a word. But she's more in line with what the establishment wants than Bernie Sanders. But with that being said, I still think she would do a phenomenal job at kind of building a bridge and a coalition between the anti-establishment candidate, that is Bernie Sanders, and the Democratic Party establishment. I mean, if he's the Democratic nominee, they're going to support him. They're going to use super PAC money to support his campaign. They're self-interested too. But yeah, Kristen Gillibrand, I think that she could potentially be a fantastic VP pick. But I want to know what you guys think. If I missed anybody, comment down below. Let me know. Tell me what you think about my choices as well.